2024 is over, and so I decided to make a training recap of my entire year, which is actually a video that I also wanted to make last year, but I was just too depressed to make the video because of the fucking like 3 hours of the English sunlight that I get here. But now I'm on top of things, so here's the video. This is what I did this year. I'm not gonna really go into my program here because I already made a video about my workout program, so you can basically just go and look at it. That's what I've been doing for most of the year. In the beginning of the year, I had some SI joint pain that I got like in December of 2023, and I was still getting over that, but I think in like February I finally got over it, and then I got back into training legs normally, so squatting and deadlifting again, not like a deadlift, but I mean like Romanian deadlift. And then after that, nothing really happened for a real long time. I was just training, bulking, doing my own thing. And then on the 1st of October was the 1 year anniversary of my bulk. So on the 1st of October, I have already been bulking for 1 year, and I was bulking 2 pounds per month. And by the end of that 1 year, that surplus started becoming a little bit too much. So I decreased it to 1 pound of gain per month. But I made a video about this. I made a sort of a transformation video where I talked about my program. Did I talk about my program? Maybe not. But I talked about my measurements. I talked about future goals and all of that. So you can go and watch that. And it was really after this that more things started happening. And by the way, that's what your training year should be like. There shouldn't be much happening, aside obviously from progress. But in terms of what changes, not a lot of things should change. I'm proud that I cannot really talk about a lot of things that happened during this year in terms of training, because that means that I've been doing things the right way. Because if you can talk about some fucking change every single month of the year in terms of what your training looked like, that's a problem. You're either program hopping, or you always get injuries, or you're fucking something up. But so this is where things started happening. The first thing is my SI joint pain kind of got back a little bit. One day I just woke up and then it was there again. And I have no idea where it even came from. But then I decided, I was stupid as fuck. I decided, hey, maybe 2 sets of RDLs won't hurt. Maybe. Spoiler, they did fucking hurt. And after that I had to rest that shit for a while. But now I've gotten back from that finally. Then another thing happened in October, which is I got this. If you don't know what this is NeckFlex, which is unlike what it looks like, not a torture device that they used to use in the medieval times. It's actually a neck training device. So you just get this shit off. You put some plates here. Then you put it back on, and then you can do neck extensions. Or you can put it back here and do neck curls and all that shit. It looks fucking stupid when you do it, obviously. People are going to look at you, but nobody who has a bigger neck is ever going to look at you. If somebody looks at you and has a bigger neck, you have to ask yourself 2 questions. Is the guy on steroids? No? Okay. Is the guy fat? If the answer to that is no as well, then you can go home and cry in the corner and stop neck training. Otherwise, just keep on doing it. You shouldn't care. This thing has improved my neck training so much. And this is one of those things that I actually recommend most people to buy who give a shit about that kind of stuff. Obviously, you can live without it, but I'm just saying that if you can buy something that will enhance your gains without you putting in any extra effort, then why the hell wouldn't you do it? So this is one of those things that after I bought it, my neck gains increased in the next month so much just from me starting to use this. Even though I didn't raise the volume, I didn't do anything, everything was the same. But the thing is, using the NeckFlex for neck training actually improves the resistance curves, and it also is a lot more comfortable and a lot easier to overload. Then in November I started trying something new, which is called Nucleus Overload. I am currently doing it for calves, biceps and triceps. So if you don't know what Nucleus Overload is, it's essentially you doing basically chunk volume on days off. Okay, not on days off. So not on days off from the gym, but on days where you don't train the muscle group that you do the Nucleus Overload for. So for example, I do an upper lower, and I do my Nucleus Overload for arms on my lower, because I train arms obviously on my upper. I don't train them on my lower. So this is essentially very low intensity volume that you get in, but throughout For an example, a year or two of you constantly getting in that very low intensity volume, but still getting in a lot of volume that way, that will give a little bit of extra to your growth. This doesn't substitute normal training. I do it by the side of that. We'll see if it does anything. Maybe it doesn't, but to be honest, I don't give a shit because I do it in supersets anyway. So I just put it in places where I didn't have anything else to put anyways, where I would just normally sit on my ass. And we'll see if it does anything. So far I have been doing it for around a month and a half. Then Natural Hypertrophy started doing the physique and the program reviews. So I thought that why not? I would send my own physique and program. I wasn't in any of the streams, so don't try to like search for me or anything. It was just a written review, so I was curious what he has to say because he's obviously way more experienced than me. I implemented the changes that he recommended to my program, and I'm going to explain those right now. So while I was recording the video, I forgot to mention literally one of the most important changes made to the program. So before, I had 2 variations of my program. The program was the same, but the exercises were different, and I was switching between these 2 variations every 3 months. But now I am taking them as a week 1, week 2. So I do one of the variations for 1 week, then the other for another week, then back to variation number 1. So basically, my training is 2 weeks, which repeats constantly. Before I was doing 3 sets of abs 2 times a week. Now I'm doing 4 sets of abs 2 times a week. Before I had 2 exercises, a lying leg raise, which is still there, that didn't change. The other exercise I changed out, that was an ab wheel rollout, but now I'm at the point where I'm too strong on ab wheel rollout, so I just switched it out for another exercise, which is weighted sit-ups. The exercises for my triceps didn't change, but I added 3 weekly sets. So before I was doing 3 sets on Monday and 3 sets on Thursday. Now I'm doing 5 sets on Monday and 4 sets on Thursday. Before I was training my forearms with 6 sets a week. I was training it 2 times, so 3 sets each time. Now I added an extra time, so now I'm training it 3 times a week, 3 sets on each day. And the exercises that I chose for that new day is, one is pronation twist and the other one is a preacher hammer curl. Then my chest volume basically got doubled. Before it was 6 sets a week, now it's 12 sets a week. So before it was 3 sets per session, now it's 6 sets per session. The first exercise is the same, rather, I would say. And then after that, I do week 1 fly presses, and then on the other week I have incline dumbbell bench press. And then finally the biceps. The biceps also got 6 extra sets per week, 2 extra on Monday and 4 extra on Thursdays. On week 1 for Monday I added a Bayesian cable curl, and on Thursday I added a preacher curl, a dumbbell preacher curl. And I already had a preacher curl on the other week, but this is a preacher curl that is a little bit different. So now I have 2 preacher curls. One of the preacher curls that I was doing before as well is a little bit less angled, and my technique is not as strict there, so I sometimes like move my body into it a little bit. Still, obviously, you can achieve a lot on a preacher curl, but basically my goal there is more to move a little bit more weight. And then on the new preacher curl that I added, it's more angled, so it's more difficult, more length and bias as well, and also it's a lot more like pencil-like form, so I'm not moving anything. It's completely focused on my biceps. So that's for week 1. And on week 2, for both days, I added incline curls, incline dumbbell curls, obviously. I've been doing this for around a month so far, and I've never taken chest measurements before. So now I had to take a chest measurement. Before, I just relied on bench press strength, which hasn't been going up since I started doing this. Maybe it's because it's too much for my front delts, because they seem to take over a little bit. I don't know, but we will see if this will work for my chest or not. I'm not hellbent on doing this kind of thing, so I will see if these things that I have added work for the muscle groups that I want them to work for or not. And if they won't, I would just go back to my own shit. I'm not going to grip too hard onto this, obviously. If something doesn't work, it just doesn't work. But for the arms, god damn, they have been working really well. Like ever since I started doing this, my arms have grown a fuck ton. Like now I finally reached 15 inches, but since then they've also grown a little bit. And this was like, again, all of this was over like 1 month. They grew almost 1/3 of an inch. So hopefully they will keep on growing like that in the future as well. And now I am currently resting. That is the last thing that happened during the year, because I was a little bit sick. 1, 2, I got some sternum pain. I have no idea for why. But yeah, so now I'm not training anything except for arms and calves because they don't really interfere with that. But I found that, like, this is so fucking hard to recover from, because when I sleep, it's like good, and my body somehow fucking crushes it, and then the next day I wake up and it hurts. So I don't know what the fuck is going on, but yeah, I'm just gonna not do anything except for arms and calves because they don't aggravate it until this gets better, and then after that I will just get back into everything again. As for my measurements, I posted my measurements on the 1st of January this year, and next year I'm going to also do it, so basically tomorrow. But I usually do my measurements always on the 1st, and so now it's the 24th when I'm recording this, so I'm not going to take the measurements yet, so I'm just going to use the latest measurements I have available, which are going to be the measurements that I took on the 1st of December. I'm going to use those, and also I got a new arm measurement since then because I just wanted to see how big it is. So my arms in the beginning of the year were 13.8 inches, fuck yeah, but now I have reached 15, and actually this was since then I measured it again, and I actually reached 15.1 now, so very nice. My calves in the beginning of the year were 14.96 inches, and now they are 16.14 inches. So to anybody who says, oh, you cannot grow your calves, it's all genetics, no, it isn't. And I will eventually make a video about how I grew my calves, because I have a very specific method that I use, and that I use only for calves, because you just kind of sort of need to use them for calves, otherwise mine wouldn't have grown either. Then my forearms, I almost got an entire inch in those. They were 11 inches in the beginning of the year, and now they are 11.9. Then my quads, they were 23.6 in the beginning, and now they are 25.4. My waist has gone from 31.9 to 33.65. Yes, so it has gone up around an inch and a half, a little bit more, around 1.75 inches, I think. I think that's pretty nice. If you compare it to everything else, it's actually really good. And I made a video about why your waist measurement, as you get jacked, even if you wouldn't really get into a higher body fat, it will still go up. But yeah, is my body fat percentage higher than when I started the bulk? Obviously it is, but it's not that much higher. And I think this amount of waist measurement growth it's not that much. And especially because I plan on continuing the bulk for around another year and a half. Now I'm gaining half as much weight as before, so I'm going to gain in the next 1.5 years as much as I gained previously, basically. So I don't think I'm gonna get that much fatter. I also managed to get an inch on my neck. It used to be 14.4 inches, and now it's 15.4. And I don't have a chest measurement, unfortunately, from the beginning of the year, but I've measured them now, and they were 39.96 inches. So basically 40 inches, and we will see where that goes. I'm saying that because hopefully, the next year I'm going to make the same video, and hopefully the next year it will be way bigger, maybe 42 or something. To be honest, I have no idea how fast you can grow your chest because I have never measured them. And then these are my plans for the following year. So first of all, I want to bulk. I'm continuing bulking. I'm going to bulk through the entirety of 2025, most likely. That's the plan, at least. I'm going to reevaluate at 2 years, but as far as I see it right now, I don't have any intentions of being like super lean or anything. My goal is to go up to around 100 kilograms, which, if I want to be a reasonable body fat percentage at that, realistically that will take me another 1.5 years, roughly, a little bit more. Almost 2 years, basically. So through 2025, I'm definitely going to bulk, and then I'm probably gonna stop bulking towards the end of 2026. Again, I want to get to around 100 kilograms, so that's like 220 pounds. Maybe 225, I don't know, and then I will probably just recon, but that's so far away. By the way, I think I'm like 202 pounds or something like that right now. Another thing that will be an update to my training in the next year is in either January or February, very soon, I'm going to get a slant board for doing squats. So if you don't know what that is, it's essentially like heel elevation. It's something that you can put under your heels. You can adjust the angle as well. So I think the one that I'm gonna get, what was it like? I think it was 24 degrees, 18 degrees, 12 and then 6 or something like that. And this helps you to get more quad work out from doing squats because it helps you get more knee bend. So that's hopefully going to get my quad gains even better. So that's very nice. Another thing, since my arms have responded so well to the increased volume, I'm going to try it for neck as well. So far I haven't been doing that much neck volume because I started from training neck once a week with 3 sets, and now I got up to I think 8 because I always just increase it when my neck work stalls. But now I've seen how much the little extra volume helped on my arms, even though they weren't stalling even with the lesser volume. So I'm going to try that on neck as well, and we will see what happens. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to take it back down, but I think it will probably work. We will see. I will probably do a video about it anyways. Another change that I'm going to make when I come back to training the entirety of my body is for traps. I used to do on week 1 power shrugs with a straight bar, and on week 2 dumbbell chest supported shrugs. Now the dumbbell chest supported shrugs I'm not going to do anymore because I just maxed out the dumbbells, and instead of that I am going to do a trap bar shrug, and I'm also going to switch out the barbell for the trap bar on the power shrugs. So for week 1 I'm going to have trap bar power shrugs, and on week 2 I'm also going to have trap bar shrugs, but not power shrugs, just normal shrugs, and they're gonna be with complete like pencil neck form. So essentially week 1 is going to be the Unga Bunga, move as much weight as possible trap exercise, and the other one is gonna be the more optimal and get more out of less weight. Like even then you can use obviously a lot of weight for your traps, but you know, it's gonna be way more strict than a power shrug, obviously. I might also start doing more trap back thickness work. We will see. Maybe I will raise my volume a little bit on those because my lats are pretty good, and compared to that, my traps, they fucking suck, honestly. So I need to work on them a little bit. Maybe I will skew the current volume that I already am doing a little bit more towards traps. We'll see. And then the last thing that I have in mind, because I'm approaching towards it, is I want to do a 2-plate bench for 10, and then I think I don't really care about strength on most movements, but I think like that's just a cool number and a cool thing. I have never benched 2 plates before actually, and the first time I do it, I want to do it for 10 reps because I never max out or do any of the shit, and now I'm coming closer to that. So I think that I might reach it this year, or sorry, next year, so in 2025. And after I reach that, I will probably retire from the bench press because I see that it's not bad for hypertrophy, but I will probably switch it to something better that gets me a little bit more out of less weight. So I will switch it out either to a Smith bench, probably, or maybe a Larsen press that's gonna be paused. I don't know yet. We will see. But yeah, so that's all I had. This was a great year. Thank you for all the views, comments, likes, all of that. You can click here to watch my last video, and I wish you all a happy new year.